They actually did it. Black girl gamers have sent a cease and desist to thatparkplace.com because they got offended by what all accounts look to be a factual article talking about the hiring practices and the company behind Black Girl Gamers exposing the reality for all to see. And what many thought would be just empty threats on a Twitter thread, nope, Black Girl Gamers have followed through and issued a cease and desist to thatparkplace.com. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT, and I was hoping that this was just going to be one of those situations where they said their piece, they were frustrated, and in a moment of venting and anger, they just went off on this 8-part Twitter thread about why they were so mad at thatparkplace.com. They said their piece, and they'd move on from it. But no, they are continuing this mess by now issuing a cease and desist to a journalistic website providing insight on, in this case, the gaming community and the feelings behind all of that. And Black Girl Gamers does not want the truth to get out there. Smash JT. Hit the subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for my full article breaking down this ridiculous situation. This is a threat to all journalism online right now. If you're not allowed to objectively write an article talking about a situation with the facts and your own feelings combined with it, then it totally destroys the entire foundation of what the internet is built upon. Giving objective reasoning and rationale to your feelings and letting people decide on their own where they stand. And as ridiculous as this all is on the surface, digging further into it just gets more ridiculous. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Deflategate. I'm a big Patriots fan, and that was almost like a witch hunt for the NFL to go after Tom Brady to hide something else that was going on much deeper in the NFL during that time. And I can't help but think that this is also another smokescreen. Like they're making a big deal out of something here so that people look away from something else. But let's get into what Black Girl Gamers are doing right now. I found out about this from WDW Pro, an author and editor for thatparkplace.com, and they said, for all media inquiries regarding Black Girl Gamers sending a cease and desist to John Trent of That Park Place, please contact Ron Coleman. I will not personally respond to media requests at this time regarding the matter. That Park Place is not taking this lying down. They've hired a lawyer, and not just any lawyer. A lawyer that is very well versed and prepared for cases like this. So I'm very grateful that they're fighting for the right to journalistic integrity. Let's take a deeper dive at who they hired for their lawyer.
At the end of the day, I always consider myself a commercial litigator, and that's what I've been doing for my entire career. Whether it's franchise litigation, commercial disputes involving contracts, antitrust, insurance, and of course trademark and unfair competition, patent litigation, employment litigation. I'm a commercial litigator, but I'm also a commercial litigator who tries cases.
A partner at the Dillon Law Group. Ron Coleman is counsel in the Dillon Law Group, a national law firm of distinction with offices in California, New York, New Jersey, Florida, Texas, Virginia. Based in Newark, New Jersey, Ron is known for his work as a successful trademark, commercial, and litigation lawyer. Notably, his successful representation of Simon Tam of rock band The Slants in the historic U.S. Supreme Court case Mattel versus Tam. Dillon Law is primarily known as a litigation law firm, and they handle legal disputes, almost always involving businesses that end up in trial courts, arbitration, or appellate courts. They also advise clients in areas related to practice specialties and resolving disputes without litigation and avoiding such situations altogether. So they're looking to have an amicable resolution to this with Black Girl Gamers. But something like this, I can't help but think that Black Girl Gamers is going to keep pushing, because first off, I didn't think they were gonna go forward with any kind of cease and desist, because you just don't do that when someone reports on your organization unless it is inherently false, completely untrue, and paints you in a light that just completely destroys your image. That Park Place did not do that. I read through their entire article. multiple times and saw nothing that would stand out that would make me think, oh, they are just doing this to tarnish the reputation of a company. They have a lot of anger and ill will against them. No, it was a fairly straightforward, here's the issue with Black Girl Gamers. Here's why it's a discrepancy in the hiring practices. Here's why they're not transparent. And Black Girl Gamers was not a big fan of that, and they went on the offensive. Which is crazy, because that would mean anyone talking about this situation would be open for their lawyer to come after you, or in this case, me. Like I said when I made my last video about it, literally just commenting on the situation, I had some genuine concerns that they would do something like that to me. But at the same time, I'm not going to just sit on the sidelines and watch this stuff happen and not speak up. I have a voice, just like everyone else out there. Black Girl Gamers, in my opinion, is inherently in the wrong with their approach. Their job applications literally calling for people of color. More and more of the companies out there are directly, unapologetically excluding white people. That is a problem, and it's been something that has somehow been accepted over the past decade or so, and it's just grown and grown and grown, and no one has really said anything about it because they were too afraid to be like, hey, that's actually not fair. You can't do that kind of stuff. That's reverse racism, and it's just as bad as racism in the first place. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you call it, it's racism. And the funniest part about this is their organization, their consulting group, is called Black Girl Gamers, and they're taking the approach that they don't have discriminatory hiring practices, which is just hysterical. It's like, okay, you can say that you don't discriminate all you want, but what you say and what you do are two different things. And sure, nobody likes to be called a racist, and they will say anything that they can to act like they're not. But at the end of the day, what your actions are speak louder than the tweets that you make. Another tweet coming from WDW Pro stating, as our attorney Ron Coleman stated yesterday, John Trent received a cease and desist from Black Girl Gamers. That cease and desist goes farther than anything that I have personally ever seen in chilling freedom of press. The response starts Sunday night with Valiant Renegade. This is a direct attack on the freedom of press. The individuals out there reporting on what they see. And it gains traction when you get stuff like this happening. When there's a site like Black Girl Gamers taking issue with an article exposing them, people are going to pay attention more and wonder why you're taking such issue with that. And instead of fighting fire with what you perceive as fire, instead of that, why not just approach it with a, yeah, thank you for the article. We're not even going to say anything about it. We're just going to try to fix some things behind the scenes to make sure that that isn't the case moving forward if there's an issue with that. Otherwise, leave it alone. Drawing more attention to it, sending a cease and desist is only going to make more people comment on it. Loading up Black Girl Gamers' website, they state at the very beginning, we're energized by the opportunity to change the way people think about gaming. You know, that takes on a different meaning when you start sending cease and desist to companies that are reporting on your hiring practices. And ultimately, that's where the problem begins and ends. I can't believe it's gotten to this point. And because of that, it concerns me that it's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. But even in my previous video, I even said, I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're only getting started here. And sure enough, the very next day, there's a cease and desist letter being sent to thatparkplace.com. And this is the Streisand effect in full effect. Like, you are trying to silence someone, and all people are going to do is talk about it more. And maybe that's what you want, or maybe you're just dumb. Either way, it's not a good look. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing.
There is no conversation. It is whatever we say about you is truth, and you're done.
One friend did it with us. He heard our side of the story, and he was just like, oh, wow, this is completely understandable. I see where you guys are coming from. Then he writes us later on, we weren't the right type of black friend.
Breaks on that for a while. I don't know how much out of this time I need that I'm at right now. I need to clear my head. I haven't been feeling myself. I think it's time for me to take a break. Like, I just feel like I'm kind of floating without any purpose right now.
They brought up my boyfriend. They wanted to know if he was white, because if he was, that would have made sense to them of why I was acting like this.